I want to talk to you about Wells Fargo Payment Solutions. Should you go with it, or should you just look for, let's say, a more traditional payment solutions provider? So here are the facts I want you to really pay attention to. I mean, Wells Fargo may be one of the bigger banks out there, that's for sure. I mean, one of the top four banks in the country. But when it comes to payment processing, they really have a lot to learn from other players in the industry. And but I'll be explaining to you why. So when you think about Wells Fargo Merchant Services at a glance, you think about a bank that offers standard credit card processing features. Though priced competitively against companies like Square, Wells Fargo's business practices really warrant caution. So I don't care if you are a Wells Fargo business customer or you're not. Before you choose Wells Fargo Payment Solutions for anything about credit card processing or even online sales processing, be very careful. Wells Fargo banking customers get a few added sort of perks, that's for sure. But when you think about the overall service, you got to really think twice. Now, what is Wells Fargo Merchant Services for real? Let's really go a little deeper here. So Wells Fargo Merchant Services is actually the merchant services division of Wells Fargo, one of the largest, as you know, one of the largest and oldest banks in the United States. So while getting a merchant account from your bank might seem like a good idea, large banking organizations such as Wells Fargo have little incentive to offer competitive terms or prices on payment processing. And the promise of a quicker deposit times, the main attraction of getting processing services through your bank, is rarely fulfilled. And many competing providers can now get your money to you just as faster or even faster. Okay. So it's one of those things where don't think, oh, well, because I'm a customer of Wells Fargo's or I'm a customer of Chase, for instance, I'm getting a better deal. No. Wells Fargo uses Fiserv, formerly First Data, as its back-end processor, allowing it to market the popular Clover lineup of POS systems and terminals. However, it also means that you may have to deal with Fiserv for some issues, including account holds, freezes, and also terminations. So now, while Wells Fargo Merchant Services while they have mostly eliminated the 3-year contract term and early termination fee for merchants on a flat rate pricing model, basically the service overall is still not that good when compared to other players in the industry, and even Square or even QuickBooks POS. So that's something to really think about. Let me go a little more into details here. Let me give you a full evaluation of Wells Fargo Payment Solutions. So I'm talking about the pros and cons. So you have in the end a better idea about what kind of a service you are getting with Wells Fargo. So what are the pros first? You have a full line of Clover terminals and POS systems. You have flat rate pricing for low volume merchants. So that's really good. You also have account management and reporting tools. So what happens here is that the platform has an online tool called Business Track that helps you as a merchant handle chargebacks, get notifications, analyze transaction trends, download payment data, and get help with 1099K forms and tax reporting. You also have next deposit. So Wells Fargo Merchant Services lets you as a business owner deposit funds into your account at other financial institutions, but there are some perks to using a Wells Fargo business deposits account instead. Merchants who choose to use the in-house deposit account will have access to their funds as soon as the next business day. So that's pretty good. So if you are already banking with Wells Fargo, you may find it simpler to keep all of your accounts at the same bank. You have a relatively straightforward payment structure, so you can eliminate fees and costs ahead of time. And you do have a variety of point-of-sale hardware options with prices ranging from $112 to $675 plus taxes. So those are the pros here. What about the cons? You have a limited variety of products and services. You have a provider that offers expensive equipment leases. You have a tiered pricing model that's offered to high-volume merchants. So that could be a little problematic. You also have a 3-year standard contract with expensive early termination fee They have changed that a little bit, but it's still actually applicable in some cases. You have a poor reputation for sales transparency and customer service. You will need to pay a monthly service fee regardless of your processing activity. Depending on the type of business you have and how many transactions you process, other companies may offer lower rates, and there are more expensive rates for B2B businesses. Okay, so expensiveness. I mean, expensiveness is really a key criterion with Wells Fargo. Let me talk to you about the deciding factors here. When you think about Wells Fargo Payment Solutions, what are the deciding factors? First of all, the processing rates. So you have 3.1% plus 15 cents and up for online transactions. I'm going to put this on the screen because this is really critical to have a clear idea. So 3.1% plus 15 cents, okay, and up for online transactions. 3.2% plus 15 cents and up for in-person transactions. In-person transactions are less risky than, let's say, a keyed transactions. You have 3.1% plus 15 cents and up for manually keyed transactions. You have 2.4% plus 20 cents and up for in-person business-to-business transactions. You can see that the B2B transactions cost more than the B2C. And you have 3.5% plus 20 cents and up for online or manually keyed business-to-business transactions, okay? In terms of accepted payment methods, you have credit cards, debit cards, gift cards, electronic checks, digital wallet payments, wire transfers. They accept everything. They accept everything. And the contract length, I want to insist on that. No early termination or cancellation fees generally, but terms and conditions they do apply. In terms of compatibility, Wells Fargo Merchant Services sells Clover Mini, Clover Flex, and Clover Go POS solutions, along with an FD 150 terminal. You can also use equipment or gateways not received from Wells Fargo, but online rates may apply to in-person transactions. You have 24/7 support through Wells Fargo, but hey, listen, the support is not really that really stellar anyway. So in terms of credit card processing, you have it through Fiserv. Fiserv is the backend processor. The hardware is pretty solid. It's usually mostly Clover. Now, Wells Fargo Merchant Services offers several countertop terminals that support EMV and NFC based, in other words, contactless payment methods. Now, so this is kind of cool. And one thing I want to say also is that you also have online account sign up and management. So you can really apply and get approved for a Wells Fargo merchant account quickly and easily by actually signing up online. As I said a little earlier, if you are an existing customer, things go a lot faster. And if you actually have your merchant cash account through Wells Fargo, you can actually get a business loan real fast too, because Wells Fargo is a top bank, is a top national bank, so they do have the balance sheet to actually take care of you when it comes to business funding. So that's really good. Let me talk to you a little bit about the fees and rates. So basically, although other processing rate plans are available, Wells Fargo Merchant Services publishes specific flat rate pricing information on its website, and these rates are intended for small business users and appear to be part of a strategy to compete with Square. Okay, and so that's really something to really think about. And so, what are the rates here? The rates for consumer sales are as follows. So, when I speak about consumer sales, I'm talking about B2C. So, for the monthly processing volume, if it's less than $15,000, you have card present, in other words, tapped, dipped, or swept rate is 2.60% plus 15 cents per transaction. Card not present, in other words, online or keyed-in rate, you have 3.4% plus 15 cents per transaction. Again, those are for B2C transactions. So if you have a transactional volume that's less than $15,000, that's what the rate is. If your transactional volume goes from 15,001 cents to less than $40,000, you are paying 2.40% plus 15 cents per transaction for a card present and 3.2% plus 15 cents per transaction for card not present. If you have more than 40,000, the rate is 2.20% plus 15 cents per transaction. And for card not present, you are looking at 3.10% plus 15 cents per transaction. Okay, now this is for B2C transactions. Now let's talk about B2B transactions. So for B2B transactions, you have for less than, if the transactional volume is less than 15,000, you have 2.60% plus 20 cents per transaction for card present. For card not present, you're looking at 3.99% plus 20 cents per transaction. If the volume goes from 15,000 to 40,000, you have 2.5% plus 20 cents per transaction for card present. And for card not present, you're looking at 3.75% plus 20 cents per transaction. If you have a monthly processing volume for B2B that goes above $40,000, the rate for card present is 2.40% plus 20 cents per transaction and 3.5% plus 20 cents per transaction. So that's really something to really think about, okay? And it's one of those things where you have to really understand. It's also about what kind of transactions you actually have, okay? In addition, you have transaction type such as in-person tapped, dipped, or swiped through a terminal, $9.95 per location. That's the monthly fee. Through your website's online shopping cart provided by Wells Fargo's Authorized.net e-commerce solution, this will set you back $24.95 every month. Through a virtual terminal that may or may not be purchased through Wells Fargo, or by sending digital invoices, $9.95 every single month. Through a third-party solution that lets you accept payments through a shopping cart, POS software, or a web browser, this will set you back $14.95, and this is every single month, by the way. Let me give you some extras here. So when you think about the Wells Fargo Payment Solutions, in terms of sales and advertising transparency, they have very low rating across the board, okay, based on our own investigation, but also based on surveys online. Same thing for sales practices, not really the best of the best, okay. So although Wells Fargo has, although they use an in-house sales team to market and set up accounts, Wells Fargo doesn't fare well overall in this area. Here are some of the things you need to know. So you have limited information on the website, poor interactions with sales team, no social media presence, okay? So other than the standard flat rate pricing information for small businesses, the Wells Fargo Merchant Solutions website contains very little information to help you make an informed decision about the company. So this is really what it is. We actually recommend cross-referencing the Clover website if you are interested in any of those products for more product details. You also have poor interactions with sales team. So as evidenced by complaints from merchants and the recent lawsuit against the Wells Fargo Merchant Solutions, the company's sales agent frequently failed to disclose important contract terms when selling accounts. Merchants are often not advised that their contract includes a long-term commitment and an early termination fee. So never rely on any verbal assurances from a sales agent, and thoroughly review all contract documents before signing them, okay? You also have no social media presence. So because it's actually a division within a much larger organization, Wells Fargo Merchant Solutions has no social media presence of its own. Information on merchant services is actually occasionally posted on main Wells Fargo Bank social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, now called X, LinkedIn, and YouTube, but it's incredibly difficult to find. So something to really think about. You have a contract length and early termination fee. You have the standard flat rate pricing, so that's something that's really problematic. You have customer service and technical support. It's not really where it should be at. So in terms of customer service, you have the ability to go through the phone support, email support. You have support tickets, live chat, dedicated support representative, knowledge base or help center, videos and tutorials. You have a company blog, social media also. So you have a lot of possibilities, and you have a way to actually connect with Wells Fargo. By the way, you can see on the screen if you want to contact the company. If you're not yet a customer, you have a number to call. And if you are already a customer, you also have a number to call. So let me talk to you a little bit about some alternatives here. When you think about Wells Fargo Payment Solutions, what kind of alternatives can you consider this year? Well, you have rivals such as Payline Data, right? You also have HealthSim to actually to actually compare and contrast. You also have Square. So let me first talk about the I want to talk about Payline Data. So Payline Data actually has in terms of pricing, you are looking at interchange plus 0.4% plus 10 cents for in-person transactions, and you have interchange plus 0.75 cents, 0.75% and 20 cents for online transactions. So overall, Payline Data is a solid merchant account provider for small businesses that have been turned down elsewhere because they are high-risk merchants. The term can apply to companies that offer age-restricted products or have a high risk of fraud or chargebacks. This includes businesses that sell tobacco, computer software, CBD, dating services, fantasy sports, and more. Okay, that's really good. Now, if you need more information, go to the Payline Data's website. They have a calculator that lets you estimate what your monthly cost will be. You also have HealthSim. So HealthSim, in terms of pricing, you are looking at interchange plus 0.4% plus 8 cents for in-person transaction, and if $50,000 or less in monthly card transactions. Then you also have interchange plus 0.5% and 25 cents per online or manually keyed transaction if $50,000 or less in monthly card transactions. You have a 0.5% plus 25 cents for ACH payments capped at $6. So overall, when you think about HealthSim, think about flexibility. With an interchange plus pricing structure, HealthSim is really fantastic for small businesses looking for transparency and volume discounts. Rates begin dropping after a business surpasses the $50,000 monthly credit card volume threshold, and merchants don't have to worry about monthly fees or contracts. You also have Square. So when you think about Square, you have 2.6% plus 10 cents for in-person transactions, 2.9% plus 30 cents for online transactions, 3.5% plus 15 cents for manually keyed transactions, and you have 3.3% plus 30 cents for invoices. So for small businesses, small business owners looking for a payment service provider instead of a merchant account provider, Square is a really good option. Its flat rate pricing is easy to understand, and signing up doesn't require much commitment. The free POS software plan has no monthly fees and includes features such as low stock alerts, item categories, saved cards, invoices, e-gift cards, and integrated payments. The company also offers POS hardware along with plans tailored to restaurants, professional services, and retail shops. So that's really, really good. So the final verdict here is that when you think about Wells Fargo Payment Solutions, you have to really understand that it's not about really being associated with a big bank, okay? It's about the quality of the service that you are getting. Now, even if you already have a bank account with Wells Fargo, we cannot really recommend Wells Fargo Merchant Services. With the vast resources of Wells Fargo Bank behind it, there is no reason why Wells Fargo Merchant Services cannot really offer a more complete range of products and services, more competitive terms and costs, and top-notch customer service to back them up. Really think about it. The bank doesn't. Right now it doesn't. Instead, it offers a surprisingly limited array of products and services with customer support that's mediocre, that's really mediocre at best. And so it should be really clear by now, and I mean abundantly, that relying on brand name recognition is no longer an advantage due to the continuing controversies swirling around Wells Fargo. Okay, so if you are determined to sign up with a big stable bank as your payment processor, you might want to try out Chase Payment Solutions. Okay, it has a solid features and a reputation for fairness. Otherwise, it's just better to go for a traditional payment processor such as HealthSim, Clover, QuickBooks, Square, or have you. Okay. Now, who is Wells Fargo Merchant Services for? Well, someone who already has a business bank account with Wells Fargo and prefers to keep all of his or her accounts at the same institution. A business owner who wants to estimate their payments ahead of time, Wells Fargo's relatively straightforward pricing structures make your charges fairly predictable. And also, businesses that have high total monthly processing volumes of in-person transactions and sell directly to consumers. These types of businesses will have access to the lowest rates offered through Wells Fargo's pricing structures. Remember, Wells Fargo is more competitive when it comes to B2C. They're not competitive at all when it comes to B2B, okay? B2C, yes, maybe, but B2B, not really recommended. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about Wells Fargo Payment Solutions. I gave you the facts, the evaluation, the deciding factors, the fees and rates, the extras, the alternatives, the final verdict, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.